Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel for this episode 14 here on Monteith with me, Farmer Murphy. Well, you can see we made it to November 1st. It is the next month. We survived harvest, barely. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, getting a little bit lazier start today because we are working like crazy. And our money is at 736,000. And how we got there was in addition to the contracts I read out, I should say, last episode, we did two sowing contracts worth 100K, a rock picking on field two that was actually underway when we left for 65K, and then three cultivating ones for 160K. So that tallies up to, I think, close to another $300,000 in contracts on top of the 500,000 that I read out last time. Now, we didn't have all of those contracts in the last list completed, but of course now we do. There's no outstanding contracts, and so that's brought us to 736,000. Now we had a tiny bit more than that, about 50,000 more. The family vehicle issue came to head during harvest. So my wife Rebecca has a sporty new red SUV sitting in the garage back home that she picked out. Yeah, it came to the breaking point because I was using the other truck to cart fuel and some seed around and things like that, and it was just untainable anymore just having the one vehicle. So we'll get a chance to have a look at that at some point. But that's the only money we spent since we were together last. Now, I'm down here by myself. The family is taking a well-deserved rest. There are no contracts available right now, which is I'm kind of thankful for. Actually, we need to get some of our own work done. You can see the bales are still sitting here and the straw is still sitting on this field. So that's kind of what our priorities are to start with here. And you'll notice way off in the distance there, straight ahead, you can see the John Deere sitting there with the baler, the small John Deere. It was late at night when I was doing some of this off-camera work, and I said to myself, why am I sitting here waiting when I could be doing that baling? So I jumped in and started baling, and then I said to myself, oh, wait, I actually in-game don't have a body that's able to do that at this time. So I stopped. But it just highlights that if we had another body available in game, there was equipment available and work that could have been done. Like they could have also picked up these bales here. Um, yeah, not another issue that's not getting any better is the movement of those pipes. In one save, I did save the game, went out, came back in, and went to play again, and the pipe had actually rotated 180 degrees. It was actually out over top of the power lines there. So it's getting worse, not better. I'm a little more than a little concerned about that, to be honest, because that's gonna mess up my plans. It's really strange because I did a test and they seem to be relatively stable, but during the course of the updates, I think something has happened. Oh, and in addition to the money, we should talk about this. Of course, we have um, crop in our silos that we can sell. We have 100,000 liters of soybeans that we can sell at max price in July for 125,000. And we have 265,000 liters of corn that we can sell for max price in January for 134. So we do have some other funds coming in. What else? Oh, one more thing before we get on to doing some uh, picking up of straw bales. Let's just gallop over here across the road. Now, I've kind of set up almost all of our leased equipment. Our bale trailer is actually still a leased item, but this is all the leased equipment that we currently have on the farm. The truck and trailer, the seeder, the auger wagon, and oh, I left the tailgate open, our little John Deere. Now, I just have not decided if I'm going to buy out, if I'm going to buy out anything, if I'm going to return it all. I'm kind of waiting to see what contracts come in this month and what funds we add to the coffers, and then I'll decide. So it's just going to sit here for now, but I just thought it was a good way. I set it all up there just to show you what we currently have leased. And again, our bale trailer is not included in that. But I'm pretty sure I'll return that one, I think, and we'll buy it next harvest season when we're ready to go. Now let's jump in the Deutz here and do some. We don't need the HUD anymore, I don't think. Except I don't know what gear I was in. I should have checked. Reverse. Get it. Because we have enough funds that we could buy out uh, with, say, all of that equipment, but it wouldn't leave us then enough to buy any land. So I just haven't decided what's the best course for the farm, to invest some of that money in some additional land, or to it would be kind of nice if we had all our own equipment and didn't have to keep leasing every harvest. But so I'm gonna sit on that for a little bit, and I'll decide kind of like at the end of this month, I think. Now I know this straw isn't worth a whole lot of money, but it's worth more than nothing. And we're going to need some of it for our animals when we get it. We've got a cow pen we're going to need to put to use here to complete the challenge. So we'll always bale up some of our straw, like as we own more and more of the map. I don't know if it'll be possible for us to keep up and bale all the straw in all the fields. I kind of doubt it, but we'll see. Oh, now it may have already started. I meant to mention that early on and I forgot. But I did a picture of the, or some video, I guess, that I'm going to use as picture-in-picture for of the cedar at work. And, that didn't work out too bad. It's a 9-meter cedar. It's not the biggest in the world, but as you may have already seen, can be pulled by the Deutz. So we did enough seeding contracts with it to actually pay for the unit. The unit's worth, it was either 95 or 100, and we did $100,000 worth of contracts. So in that way, it's kind of paid for itself. But if we were to do more contracts, we have the horsepower that we could pull a larger unit, but then that would take a big tractor off of like the auger wagon or the cultivating. So I just haven't decided on that one. And that was the first time any kind of seeding contracts came up, and we don't have any need for a seeder ourselves going forward. So I'm actually leaning towards just returning that. It's just the fact that we did $100,000 worth of contracts with the unit that cost $100,000 is kind of paid for itself that way. But that's the way I'm leaning on that one. But I forgot to mention about the picture-in-picture. Actually, what I might do is let's just zoom out because it wasn't too long, and that'll leave space. And from an editing perspective, it might work better if I wasn't thinking about it earlier. So well, we're going to have more than one trailer load off of this field, but I don't think we'll have two. No, pretty sure we won't. A nice sunrise here this morning. It looks good. How many more do we need? 2 more. Oh, good. Well, we'll get these guys right up here. Now we do have to turn these fields around and get them prepped for um, planting next year. Now this field here that had, this was the soybean, wasn't it? We'll probably put corn in it. We'll swap them. We'll put soybean in the other one. But that work doesn't need to all be done this fall. We can do some of that. I'm jumping cab now, I think. We can do some of that in the spring if we need to. This field here will just need, actually just need mulching and liming because we don't need to plow it. The other field, we need to scan it, plow it, lime it, rock pick it. That drill. I'll probably do that off camera. There's nothing new in any of that. Little bit of fog out here this morning too. Boy, our tractors are getting some hours. I know the Deutz is at like 70 hours. The small John Deere is like hitting 80 hours on it. And boy, it looks like it. When we get to baling, you'll see the paint's getting pretty rough on that John Deere. We'll run down here to the sell point and see what we get. Actually, I guess if we're going to see what we get, I need to turn the HUD back on for that, don't I? Oh, that's something I forgot to do. I enlarged the size of the HUD because I needed it a little bigger for New Frontier to do scanning, and I forgot to reduce it, so it's a little larger than normal. But we need to do some scanning on here too, so I guess I might as well just leave it for now. It's not. It's only. I had it another a 10% smaller. It's at 80% right now, and I had been running it at 70%. I found that to be plenty large enough. Boy, if you put it at 100%, it seems huge. Oh, shoot. You know what I did? So used to dumping corn, or grains, I should say. That drove right over top of the sell point, basically. It is on this side. Oops. That was some poor driving there. Oh, they don't. That'll buff out. That'll just buff out. That's not a problem. I think, can't remember where the trigger is. Well, you know what? We'll go up here, and then if it unloads, if we don't don't push it off all the way, we can push the stack back with the tractor. Give it a try. Oh, there she goes. 9,000, 15, 10. So that's right around $12,000 with the environmental score we got for that. That's all right. Definitely worth making the trip down here. Can we see if that thing's folded out by looking out the window here? If we turn our head right around, we can. There we go. Now, what I think I'll do is, I know there's not enough bales on the field to fill it up again. We'll pick those few up, and then we'll park this, and we'll fill it up with the bales off the other field. I'm going to have to put the word out to Matt and see if he knows anybody that can come and help us next fall. because I don't know, did I mention that we left contracts behind? We got everything we accepted done, but there were still cultivating and rock picking contracts that we didn't take on. And that's the first time we haven't been able to do every contract that was offered, that we had the equipment for. So, of course, that's, that loss in revenue, if you like, was going to be more than made up for the revenue we get from our own fields. And even with a helper, maybe we'll actually get to the point where, even with an extra body helping us out, we won't be able to do all the contracts because of the demands of our own fields. We'll see. Because if we're going to run two complete independent harvesters, like harvest teams, that's 6 people. So I'd actually need 2 additional workers to be able to do that. But I think for next harvest, we'd be fine if we even just had one. Like we could have had these bales picked up, the straw baled. And while we were split in pairs, working on the rock picking and the harvesting, we still would have had someone available that could have done cultivating, for example. If the work on our fields was done. So. Alrighty, I think this is the last one from the looks of it. What's that look like? 7 bales on there? What we might as well do, so we don't have to run and or tab. Oh, we can actually, there's a bale there we can pick up, come think of it. Now, I think if we just park up along here, should be out of the road. We can jump out and we'll jump in the John Deere. But yeah, look at the paint job on that thing. It's a bit battered, all right, but still does the job. This is a job we can do. Let's turn the HUD on just to make sure we got everything set up correctly here. We can do this in cab. All right, I think we are good to go. I always like doing the baling in cab. Let's just take a look at, I think automatic drop should be on. Yes, it is. We are good to go. I don't think we need that anymore. We are baling. You know, I don't know if I reset the counter. Oh, it looks like I did for this field. Nice. So we'll know how many bales we got off this field. At least I did that much. It's the fields here straight north of us I think I'd like to get next. Kind of makes sense would basically attach to our current fields. And they're also ones that I thought we could kind of do a little plowing out, like merging, to make things a little bit more friendly for working on. Like I said, I investigated. There's some areas where we definitely couldn't plow out because of the elevation changes, but there's a few spots we could. Because it's also difficult to get the workers going on those fields. They don't have an easy time of it. Actually, let's stop here for just a second. I want to check and remind myself how much those fields actually are. Field, whoa, 530 for 13, or 12, I should say. Oh, yeah. Unless we borrow more money, it's like over 800, it's almost 900,000 for those two fields. I didn't think they were quite that expensive. I'd like to avoid borrowing more money. That's another thing I said I would likely do and that I haven't done is pay any money back to the loan. Yeah, those are all kind of things I'm going to have to sit and consider when it comes to what we do next. I am just going to swing around here and pick up this big pile sitting here. That's another nice thing about this baler. The pickup is just a little bit wider. Oops. Oh, here's where we cut in. Yeah, just a little bit wider than the base game baler, so it doesn't often leave anything behind, which I really like. Well, I suppose we should probably... Oh, don't drop that there. Thank you. Take a look from outside and watch this in action. Just going to stop here so it drops it. Oh, shoot, look how far off I had wandered there when I wasn't. Oh, goodness me. I was watching the bale and watching from when it was coming out because I wanted to drop it in between the rows, and I totally wandered off track. So, I know a lot of you probably find that hard to believe. Well, when we get to the end of this row, we'll take a pause here for a second, and we'll check and see if any contracts will come in. We'll call back home and see, check with Rebecca. Because if a cultivating one come in, we'll do that quick, because I don't think I've shown the cultivator in action yet either. Yeah, drop it right there, it'll be fine. Alright, let's just go in and see. I wonder if those ones that we didn't take will come back up. Oh, one of them did. Perfect. Okay, let's take that. Awesome. That was one of the contracts that I didn't take. So we'll do one more row here, and then we'll go do some cultivating. Well, that'll make a pretty good episode, I think. Now, I think what we'll do then is I will just carry on off camera and may meet you, say next month when I decide what to do about equipment, if I buy anything out, or I might just meet you in spring again and we'll start all over again. We'll see. There aren't a lot of fields left that can be cultivated, but there's some stone picking that could be done as well, and potentially some liming, so we'll see. But I think that's what I'll do, is we'll just meet you in springtime and see where we're at, because there's, after November, not a lot of contracts, if any, that show up. Alrighty then. Well, let's just park this up here. I'll leave you there for just a second. I'll go find the big dog with the cultivator, and I will meet you at field 17. Okay, we are ready to start cultivating. I took a look at the map, and I think this may be our last contract for the year. Now, you can see this is leaving stones. Now, we may get a rock picking one on this one, but it'll be the only field that has stones on it on the map. There are some fields that still say they need plowing, but I'm pretty sure we plowed them already, like field 2. We plowed it and picked the stones on it already, so I can't imagine it's going to swing around again. So I'm kind of thinking this is our last contract for this calendar year, and we won't see anything again until spring. That's what I'm thinking. So that just leaves the work on our fields to be done this fall as much as we can, as weather permits. So I think, I think we'll do that off camera, and we'll just meet in spring unless there's some big dramatic change. And right now I'm leaning towards just returning all of that leased equipment, and oops, I don't think I turned quite sharp enough there. I'm going to hook that tree. Find a piece of land to buy. There's some around the house that aren't that expensive, so maybe buy out potentially the truck, I suppose, and because we're going to need to move all that grain to sell it this winter, and buy one small field. Whoops, whoa, that was terrible, sorry about that. That might make the most sense. Well, we gotta get over here because that tree is just about in the field. There we go. $18 meters of cultivating goodness going on here. At a fairly good clip too, actually. If I turn this on, what are we? Probably 18 is the top speed there. So I have to turn it on going a bit around a bit of a corner. Even these fields that you would call small fields on this map are pretty darn good size, actually. This is the field I was harvesting last when the rain came. You know, the smart play might be to actually pay the loan off. It'd be somewhat less than 400,000 because we've made some payments, but we have the money to do that. Return all the lease stuff because you never know, something might come up used between now and then. And then we avoid the interest payments through the winter. And come springtime, we could look at potentially taking another loan and to buy an additional field to plant in the spring. But we avoid all that interest for throughout the winter. We'd still have 300,000. We've bought, what was it, 100 and some thousand from crop sales. Would be up to 400. Wouldn't need to borrow much potentially to get another field. And actually, if we just went with a small field, I know one of the fields, I can't remember which one, but one of them around the house is like only 128,000. Now, it's not a very big field, but we could pay cash for it and we'd be debt free. So maybe that's the smart thing to do. We just have to rent something again to haul our crop into the sell point in, what was it, January, I guess. Because with our little trailer, that'd be a lot of trips, like over 10 trips, 13 trips. Take a little while. Of course, in January, we don't have anything else to do we? Could set auto drive to do that, so I didn't have to personally sit and make those trips. turn the hot on, see what we got for hours on here. 31 hours on the big dog of the farm right now. But we did buy it used. It had some hours on it. I can't remember where it was at, but we haven't used it a ton. But sure does make doing jobs like this nice. So I think this cultivator, if I recall correctly, requires like 500 horsepower. So it takes a good sized tractor to pull it. I think we do need to aim for, though, having the 9RX on the farm as an in-game tractor. Well, folks, I suppose I should probably leave you there because we were at nearly 30 minutes before we started this, and I'll bet you we've done more than 10 minutes on this field. So like I said, I'll get what I can done on our fields this fall before the snow hits. I'm pretty confident there aren't going to be any more contracts. Maybe stone picking on this one. Potentially, but we'll see, and we'll catch up with you in spring, see where we're at as far as field prep, if there's anything left to do. And I think that's what I'm going to do. My latter plan, I'll just pay the loan off, get rid of that equipment. We'll see if anything comes up used, and we'll catch you up when spring rolls around and the next contract season starts. And it's time for us to thinking about getting our fields in. So if you're still with me, I really appreciate you watching. If you haven't already, I encourage you to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to see when other content like this lands, well, hit that old notification bell. But for this episode here on Monteith, it's Farmer Murphy signing off.